Oh my goodness, you've just been in an accident and it was a hit and run. What do you do? Stop what you're doing, watch this video, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do immediately. Stay tuned. So, you've just been involved in a hit and run accident. What do you do? Well, this is one of the most important things you do, and you need to take immediate action. The first thing you need to do is call the police. One of the most important things you can do in the state of Georgia is report the accident because many insurance companies make this a requirement that if you want to use your uninsured motorist coverage, it needs to be reported to the police because they want to make sure that you are not making up that the accident actually happened. And if you report it to the police and it didn't actually happen, that's a crime. And so what you're doing is you're putting your assurance that this was a legitimate accident, a legitimate hit and run, and I called the police and reported it under penalty of perjury if I'm lying. And so that's going to go ahead and open up some ability for you to then potentially have an uninsured motorist claim. Second, try as best you can immediately to document anything you have about the car that hit you. Whether that be maybe you saw the license plate, pull over, grab a sheet of paper, write down the license plate number. Write down any details maybe you remember about the color or the make or the model of the vehicle. These details matter and they make a difference. And the more information that you can provide to the police officer is going to help your situation and to help them ultimately be able to potentially catch this individual for the hit and run. And so any information you have about what the individual looked like, their license plate number, any other details is definitely helpful. 3, get out of your vehicle if it's safe to do so and take photos of the damage to your vehicle. You need to document the damage because, again, this supports the argument that the accident actually happened. And so if you can show, for example, paint transfer, or let's say you drive a white vehicle, but there's some black paint near the scrape, that shows that a black vehicle likely hit you and further supports your insurance claim later for the hit and run. And so documenting with photos any damage to the vehicle, particularly any paint transfer, is a huge help. Now, usually in hit and run accidents, there's 2 scenarios that occur. One is that the police ultimately locate the person and ultimately amend their police report to add their information. And 2 is a situation where the person is never found. And unfortunately, the second situation happens more often than you would think. Even in our world of surveillance cameras and traffic cameras, there still are many people that flee a scene of an accident and are never caught. Now, obviously it's improving, it's getting better with flock cameras and other things like that, but it still is a major problem. And so I'm going to talk about each of those 2 scenarios and what you need to do if you find yourself in either one of those 2. First, if the individual is caught, that's a great sign because that means that you're now going to have all their information and their insurance information to file a claim both for the property damage and your injuries. Now, you might also be entitled to what's called punitive damages. Punitive damages are damages that punish a person for bad behavior. And obviously, being in an accident generally is not enough to warrant punitive damages or punishment. Everybody makes mistakes. People are negligent, unfortunately. Punitive damages come when the person makes an intentional decision or a reckless decision to decide to flee the scene of the accident. So that's another additional damage that you might be entitled to receive. And guess what? Their insurance is not going to tell you about that. You need to be prepared to bring that up and ask for those damages if it's a case that warrants it. And the only way to make sure that you receive every penny is to call an experienced lawyer. But use that information, use that data. Also, get a copy of the police report and the investigation because there might be other factors. Maybe the person was DUI at the time and that's why they fled. Maybe they didn't have insurance. Maybe they are somebody who they were fleeing the scene of a crime. These are all factors that can contribute to punitive damages. And only through an experienced lawyer that can do the investigation, find this data, find this information, can you maximize your recovery. So that's situation 1. They find the driver. Situation 2, let's say the driver is never found. What do you do? Well, what you do is you use what you have on your policy, which is called uninsured motorist coverage. And hopefully you have it. Not every policy does. But if you have uninsured motorist coverage and the person is never found, you generally need to provide that police report that we talked about, and the reason it's so important to call the police, as well as any photographic evidence that you have that the accident actually occurred, whether that be the paint transfer, whether that be a scrape on the side of the car. It could even be your dash cam footage is a huge help, both in trying to locate the individual, but also proving to the insurance company that the accident actually happened. So provide these things to the insurance company and open a claim for uninsured motorist. An uninsured motorist is divided into two categories: uninsured motorist bodily injury, uninsured motorist property damage. The property damage will cover the repairs to your car, the bodily injury will cover your injuries. Now, you may not even know if you have this coverage, and so there's a couple ways you can figure that out. One, you get a copy of what's called your declarations page from your insurance. The second is you can call your agent. Say, hey, this happened. I was involved in a hit and run. They never found the person. Do I have uninsured motorist coverage? And they can help you. But keep in mind that insurance agent works for the insurance company. So be very careful what you say. Assume they're recording every phone call. And if you want to be extra careful, just go ahead and call an experienced lawyer to handle the whole thing for you. Lawyers are expensive. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But the cost that you're going to have to pay that lawyer is going to be far less than the cost that you're going to have to pay if you make a mistake and you're not protected and you cannot get every penny that you're entitled to. So trust us on that. Studies have shown traditionally that people who hire lawyers still end up with more in their pocket than they would have had if they handled it on their own. And that study's been done multiple times. And so especially in a hit and run situation, especially in a situation where they never find the individual, don't risk it. Hire an experienced lawyer who knows what they're doing and can make sure that you're protected. So that's all the information I have for today about hit and run accidents. Obviously, if you have any questions, call us. Me and my team will be more than happy to answer any questions you have in a free consultation. Otherwise, definitely call an attorney in your area or your jurisdiction to help you with your particular case. And if you like getting these updates, if you like learning more about the law, or maybe you've always wanted to be a lawyer, definitely like and subscribe and kind of get all this information as it comes out and as it becomes available to you. So until next time, everybody out there, stay safe and thanks for watching.